Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome back to Sober Witch Life, Sunshine's Guide to a Magical Recovery. I'm excited to be here again. It's been a couple of weeks because I was supposed to be on a beautiful retreat out in Maine and seeing some of my very dear and lovely witchy friends, and I got COVID. um, but I'm better. I feel much better. Still a little bit. Lingering, which is to be expected. I've got asthma, I've got lung issues, yeah, yada yada yada. But I'm back, and that means we're back here once again, trying to bring these to you weekly. But we're gonna let the universe guide me. So that's been what we're talking about today. Literally letting the universe guide us, letting our psychic abilities guide us, embracing these abilities to guide us along our road to recovery. So, as always, I'm going to start with a little bit of a story. I was about 3 months sober. This was probably about, it was right around Christmas time. I know that because it was literally between Christmas and New Year's. It was at a meeting between Christmas and New Year's because it was a packed meeting. There was a lot of people there. It was, God, I don't even know. I have no clue at this particular point. Um, but it was a lot. And it had been the second uh meeting at this particular location that week that I'd been to, and sitting at tables with some of the same folks. And I was just realizing that I was feeling a little bit strange and awkward again, right? Because once again, we're in Christmas. So people are talking about Christmas and they're talking about the holidays. And it's very much focused on, it's a religious based practice, it's a religious based practice. And just the whole holiday, the whole season is because of a religion. And it was just strange because I was listening to a lot of people talk. This is actually the time frame where I tested the waters, and I've shared this in other places. But I tested the waters to see and to ask, if people were going to kind of be tolerant of how I saw my higher power, right? How I worked with a higher power or anything of that nature. And I'd used the word higher powers at the table once and somebody called me out on it. But, at the end of the day, as I was, a little bit further out, almost at that 90 days, spending a little bit of time because I had some time off, meditating, thinking, just being in the moment, I'd got a nudge to pick up my tarot cards again. So I did, I'd never been a regular, like daily or anything of that. It was just whenever I needed at that particular point. But I'd gotten a nudge, a very specific nudge to go out to buy a notebook, and to start doing a daily poll, just to see what it said, just to see what it said. Uh, and it was probably a week after that, right? We were now just into the new year. Uh, we were just into the new year, and I got a nudge that I should not just be pulling cards for myself, but I should be pulling cards for other people. And it was kind of hard because like I hemmed and hawed, because not only was I getting this nudge to like pull cards for other people, I was getting this nudge to do this in like a public space, to make it available. Like, okay, let's, stop beating around the bush. Literally to go live on Facebook was what they, and I was just like, really, really, really. And at that particular point, a lot of my conversation wasn't the same. I wasn't actively communicating on a regular basis. I would just get like little pushes, little like validations, little like I'd have it pop into my head, and then 2 days later somebody would talk about going live. That was like literally the story. Um, and so I finally just decided to just trust it. I really did. I decided to just trust it. And on January 20th of 2020, right? So we're talking just over 4 years ago now, from the recording of this, uh, was the birth of Sunshine Readings. I came on to Facebook, figured out how to go and create a business page, and created. It was like, I even forget, the time was like 11. 23 or something like that in the afternoon, because it was on, I think January 20th that year was on Martin Luther King's birthday. So I was off from corporate. Um, and I did. I created it. And from that point forward, every week, I think it was on Tuesday evenings, I would go live, and a lot of the audience and a lot of the folks that I connected with have, are familiar, know me from that. To the point of literally yesterday, at one of my fairs, I had two people come up. Two people came to my table, right? But it was that point that I looking back, there was no formal commitment, but it was at that point that I had made the commitment to let my psychic abilities continue to guide me and lead me on my path of recovery. So today, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a witch using their psychic abilities to guide them along their spiritual journey, their path of recovery, right? It is so, so unbelievably a strong and I mean tense. I can't even describe. I don't even know that I can put into words how involved in my recovery that has been, right? Leaning into them, strengthening them, using them, practicing them, right? And as a witch in recovery, there's a number of things you could use these to help you make big decisions, changes in relationships, changes in careers, changes maybe even in home. You could use it to make small decisions between like, should I buy a new car or a used car? Should I invest in this program, in that program? You can even use it, and I do, to make day-to-day decisions like what should I make for dinner, or is it in my best interest to accept this invitation to lunch? Right? At the end of the day, when we're in active addiction, when we're stepping out of it, it's not just enough to stay, to stop drinking or stop using whatever it is that we're using, right? Or doing whatever we're doing that's that addictive behavior. It's literally you have to start rewiring the way that you operate as a human being, right? If you don't do that, the possibility and the probability of a relapse is much higher, right? Is much higher. I use these abilities all the time. I trust that the universe is always conspiring in my favor. So much so that on my third step prayer, right? So back when I was still in AA, I had written a third step prayer. The third step in AA is written differently. I haven't visited in so long. I don't even remember the exact words. So I don't want to quote it. But that third step prayer, for me, even has the words that I remain in the passenger seat, release all control, and sit back just to enjoy life, right? Which begs the question, why am I sharing this all with you, right? Simply put, the witch's path to recovery includes developing the confidence to follow your own intuition, and that starts with learning how it shows up for you, right? So I hope that you already have a little bit of an idea, right? But in case you don't, I will tell you every single individual's, excuse me, every single individual's gifts show up for them differently. Everyone. I have been conducting psychic ability analyses at shows for 2 years, I think now. And I couldn't even count on both hands and fingers and toes, I think 3 times how many folks I've done this with. And every people's abilities are different, every single one's. Some individuals are going to have stronger clairvoyance. They get guidance in dreams. They may see certain imagery. They may have it, literally shown. Some individuals have already talking to their guides. Maybe they have a connection to a deity, an ancestor, something. They can already have that conversation. Some folks, a lot of folks are actually falling into these last two, I found. A lot. I would actually say my guides are even saying, I was about to say 50%. They just pushed me up to 60%. Some have sensitivities in their body, right? And their bodies are always trying to tell them things. And some just get downloads that they can't explain, right? Everyone's gifts show up differently. Some it might be a combination, some it may be, just strictly one, stronger, whatever it may be. And you may be at the point in your recovery or even considering recovery right now. You may be listening to this because you're sober curious, right? And I want you to understand you don't have to like go through the other steps and then get to this. Like this could be what leads you. Embracing your own psychic abilities could be what leads you even to a path of recovery. Okay. Uh, so I really want you to pause for a moment and consider how your psychic abilities, right? How trusting your own intuition can help guide you into a much more beautiful life, right? I use my abilities to help me better understand the anxieties I had when I first stepped into recovery, right? I did a lot of shadow work, right? Where is this coming from? Where is this feeling? I would pull cards, right? And I would start to see, even from a meditation perspective, I would sit in meditation and, start to kind of ask, and these downloads would come, right? Uh, I use my abilities to guide me towards the relationships to let go of, and as well as those to fight for. I let go of a relationship with a friend that I'd had since I was 16 because I literally could see she was an active addict. I could see she was not going to change, right? That she needed some real drastic rock bottoms still in her path before she was going to. I also fought really hard originally for the partner that I had before the gentleman I'm with now. And, same thing. He was caught in active addiction, right? But on the flip side, the gentleman that I am dating, my partner Dan, at this point, um, I fought for him. Uh, there were a lot of early on, we both brought some baggage that I think made both of us consider running in the beginning, but we didn't, and I used my guides, I used my psychic abilities to make sure that I stuck around and fought. I used them to confirm the next step in my career. That those steps that I took eventually landed me in a promotion with a director's title and a pretty substantial pay increase, as well as a reduction. They allowed me to move down to reduced hours. I mean, I never could have done it in the previous, so it was really beautiful. And in other words, any decision that I had, any crossroad that I faced, any obstacle, any opportunity even, I found myself in that first year of recovery always leaning in and listening, always leaning in and asking, always pulling cards just to see, right? Uh, I wanted a life that was filled with more peace, love, happiness, hope, joy, and prosperity. And I knew that as a recovering alcoholic, I didn't know exactly how to find that all. So I leaned into my gifts. I leaned into my abilities. Uh, and for those of you that do not have that confidence and aren't like, I can't just go making all of those decisions today, don't worry. It's possible to develop and it's super simple. You just have to start using it. Just start using it today. Just find something to lean into. Ask your guides, ask the universe, ask whoever it is, right? Like ask your higher self, ask the stars, ask the moon, whatever it is, ask them for an answer and just follow it. That's how you start to build that confidence. So, well, all right, my dear friends. I hope you enjoyed today's little brief episode. And until next time, my dear friends, uh, you know, much love from me to all of you. And I'm trying to think. There's this like fuzzy little sentiment coming through. You know, don't hesitate to reach out. If you've got questions on anything that I said here, how you might be able to, do not hesitate to reach out. I am more than happy to help. So until next time, much love from me to you, friends.